Hi everyone. Hi Edika.
Hello.
Hi, are you representing AIC?
Yes, and I think my colleagues Sartak and Taisha might be joining about 30 minutes later. It's just a minor clash in meetings.
No worries, Edika. Thank you very much for joining us this morning. Hi, sorry, I need to check my screen. Hi, Jean and Joyce. I hope I pronounced. Hi.
Hi.
Morning. Hi.
Oh.
Ya, selamat pagi Sekretariat Kominfo dan Sekretariat SEA IGF. Selamat pagi Bu Amira.
Pagi.
Pagi, terima kasih sudah mewakili dari Abjatel.
Ya,
Selamat pagi
senang
Pak
bergabung
Romi.
juga.
Iya, Bu Amira. Okay, so we will be waiting for 5 to 10 minutes for everyone to join us. And then we will probably start around 10:15. So if you want to grab your drinks or grab your snack, please feel free before we discuss for the next 2 hours. Thank you.
Yep. Okay, thank you. Pak Haryo. Itu Pak Yosua ada Pak Haryo ya?
Iya Bapak, ada Pak Joshua.
Izin Pak, hadir Pak.
Ya itu Pak Yosua ada. Nggak lagi mikir. Nggak Pak Yosua aja yang bicara gitu.
Wah, belum Pak. Lebih tepat itu Pak Aswin Pak.
Aduh.
Mohon izin Pak.
Lagi rapat ya Pak Haryo ya? Pak Yosua ya?
Iya Pak, sambil ada meeting lain Pak.
Tuh.
Good morning, everyone. So we will be starting around a minute from now. Hi, Pablo. I think I see.
Hello, everyone. How are you?
How are you? Good. We are good here. How are you? from there. Thank you very much for joining today.
Thank you. Hope you are all healthy and happy.
Thank you, Pablo. Selamat pagi, Pak Bre.
Wah,
Pagi. Okay, so we'll be waiting for us to join. Okay, so good morning, everyone. Good morning, Secretariat Southeast Asia Internet Governance Forum. Also, good morning from the representative from AIC, APNIC, ICANN, and also here we can see several of representatives from Ministry of Communication and Informatics Indonesia, and also good morning also the representatives of Indonesia IGF, Indonesia Internet Governance Forum. So today we will have the open consultation session based on the proposed theme and sub-themes. Probably Mas Haryo, can you show the theme and sub-themes so far that we have disseminated to all of the members of the steering committee and also the members of committees of SEA IGF. So this open consultation actually aims to convene and also discuss all of the inputs towards themes and sub-themes, and we would like to also hearing insights from all of the members of the steering committees and also the member of committees and also the ministry that are already here and also the Indonesia and IGF members. So now probably without further ado, I would like to welcome Pak Aswin to open the session today. Yeah, thank you very much.
thank you, Maisa. Dear colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Aswin Sasongko from the Indonesian National ICT Council and also steering committee members of the Southeast Asia IGF. Well, I would like to say a short opening speech, simply because perhaps I'm the most senior member of the Indonesian IGF MAG. First of all, of course, it is an honor for me to meet all of you in this important meeting, which includes multi-stakeholders of internet from government, business, communities, academicians, well, almost all stakeholders that I can recall. Well, I'm sure I have met many of you in other meetings. Despite the challenging circumstances arising from COVID-19 pandemic, I would like also to thank all the parties that support this activity from the Indonesian government, that includes Ministry of Communication and Informatics of Indonesia, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, National ICT Council, technical communities such as APNIC, practitioners, International Regulatory Cooperation, Indonesian Network Operator Group, and so on. We have also private sectors such as ASEAN CIO Association, Asia Internet Coalitions, APJATEL or Association of Network in Telecommunications, registry and registrars, civil society that includes Indonesian E-Commerce Associations, Lee Kuan Yew School of Public Policy, Association of Indonesian ISPs or APGI, ICT Watch, TIFA Foundations, multi-stakeholders advisory group of the IDIGF, Global Voices, as well as academics like University of Indonesia, ITB, Telkom University, etc. Ladies and gentlemen, Indonesian multi-stakeholders has been very active in the internet governance from the first WSIS back in 2003, represented by the Indonesian CIT minister at that time, the late Minister Samsul Warif. Then also in the UN Working Group of Internet Governance set up after the WSIS-1 and other numerous activities. We also hosted the 8th IGF in Bali and in numerous open forum and exhibition in many IGF meetings, as well as other global internet meetings, such as I can get meetings. Well, I met some of you in the I can get meetings, of course. Henceforth, Indonesia reaffirms its intention to propose the country as the host of Southeast Asia Regional Internet Governance Forum, or SEA-IGF, CIGF. Good word of Southeast Asia, C. In 2021, we will do that to push the collaboration and partnership regarding the debates around internet governance. It is important to note that in addition to conventional internet governance looking after merely the network and the resources such as DNS, domain name system, IP addresses, root servers, and so on, now the application, contents, numerous transactions, etc. on the network are becoming more and more important issues on the internet governance. Well, in last week ICANN 70 meeting, for example, these are important issues that was discussed intensively. The current themes and program of the Southeast Asia IGF will be presented later by Mr. Haryo, and then we will all of us discuss this for the improvement of the team. Ladies and gentlemen, let us further strengthen our collaboration to advance implementation to increase the wider impact of the Southeast Asia IGF. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Pak Aswin, for a very comprehensive brief on what is the aim of Southeast Asia Internet Governance Forum, what the committee members comprise of, and what is the aim of today's session. So after Pak Aswin's kind introduction, now I yield the floor to Mr. Haryo to introduce the aim of today's session and also the proposed theme and sub-themes and what is to be expected in the next round of the preparation. Thank you very much. Mas Haryo, please.
Thank you very much, Mbak Umesha. Good morning, everyone. Thank you to joining us in open consultation for Thematic, Southeast Asia Internet Government Forums. I, Haryo, from Secretariat SIA IGF 2021, will present what we have done, then what we will do next. And this is today we are in step open consultation for Thematic. And as Aswin said, this is a first Southeast Asia Regional IGF initiative by Ministry Indonesia, by Ministry Communication Informatic Republic Indonesia, together with IGF, and and try to applying a principle of IGF: open, transparent, inclusive, bottom-up, multi-stakeholder, non-commercial, and we try to enhance the collaboration in Southeast Asia region, inviting constructive feedback in the region, and multi-stakeholder approach on internet-related issue. This is our timeline, what we have done. In 15th February 2021, we already open for various parties to submit input related to the potential themes SIA IGF 2021. Everyone can access the website, and now today we open consultation in 29 March, and tomorrow we will discuss with all steering committee SIA IGF to finalize the thematic of SIA IGF 2021. This is overall our timeline. February call for thematic, open consultation today, and in April we will open call for paper to whom to want to talk about internet governance in August. And June and July we will open the open registration, and detailed information about SIA IGF can be accessed through the website siaigf.id. And today our committee divide in three locus. Steering committee, content coordinator, and organizing committee. Steering committee, our steering committee today, there is consists of 8 from civil society, 4 government, or from private sector, 4 from technical community and academic organization Indonesia E-Commerce Association, Policy Communication Network Provider Association of Abjatel from Indonesia, ICT Watch, DIVA Foundation, representative of MIG IDIGF, Global Voice, and Global Voice, ICP, Ministry Foreign Affairs, Dewan TIK Nasional, MCIT, ASEAN CIO Association, Asia Internet Coalition, Indonesia Internet Association, Federasi Teknologi Information Indonesia, Asia Pacific Network Information Center, APNIC, Practitioner in International Regulatory Cooperation, ITB, Indonesia Network Group Operator Group, University of Indonesia. And next slide. This is our content coordinator today, and we still open part of CIGF 2021. And today, our content coordinator is from ICT Watch, Indonesia Youth IGF, MCIT, and Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Content coordinator will address the wider stakeholder to submit proposal and review proposal submit to CIGF, and we still open and everyone can join with us. Everyone can inform us through the website, through the link cigf.id, join us. Sync committed. The last locus is to prepare logistic requirement, and the entire CIGF procedure is to support the event in August, in 11 and 12 August. When the event will be carried out by hybrid mode with online and offline participants. Today, our organization committee consists of Telkom University, Abjatel, Register, Indonesia Network Operator Group, MCIT, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, and Asicom Telecom University. An agenda of CIGF will held in today's events. First day opening discussion panel forum CIGF, first session to session, and second day forum CIGF, third session and closing. Every session will discuss from 5 perspectives: infrastructure, economy and business, social and culture, law and regulation, youth, disability, and marginal. And open national consultation agenda today, opening speech by Mr. Aswin about CIGF. This is progress report of CIGF, and I will talk, inform about potential team and CIGF and the result of call thematic from various parties. And next, we will discuss about the thematic itself together. And this is the teams, potential team that we bring up: digital transformation towards Southeast Asia integrated community. This is in line with the Internet Governance Forum, the ASEAN Vision 2022, and the plan of Indonesia itself will about implementation of ASEAN Comprehensive Recovery Framework that in November will be held about ASEAN creative economy business from enhancing the economic creative step towards to regional economy.
Okay, everyone, I think Mr. Haryo has technical issues, I think. So probably we're gonna wait for the next 2 minutes. So Putri from the Secretariat, is there anything that you would like to add from the points that delivered by Mr. Haryo, probably in the course of preparation of Southeast Asia Internet Governance Forum?
No, thank you. I think we can going on with the next agenda.
Okay, Putri, thank you very much. So we will be continuing to the discussion session. So as the preliminary information. So we have received around 4 inputs and comments regarding our proposed theme and sub-themes on each theme, and also in 3 different sub-themes. And so in today's discussion session, it will be led by Pak Bredipta Sucarana. He is part of Indonesian Internet Correspondence Forum Committee. And this discussion mainly will touch base on how you perceive and how you see the details of theme and sub-themes, and also if you have any additional comments towards the existing comment and existing inputs that are already already submitted by other fellows of steering committee. So probably, okay, Pak Haryo is already here. Pak Haryo, can you kindly show up the Excel sheet where there's the inputs and comments already for our theme and sub-themes? So we can go from there. So probably we can go to the theme and sub-theme first before, yeah, the list of theme and sub-themes first in the first sheet. Mas Haryo?
Yeah.
Sorry, Mas Haryo, can you go to the first proposed theme and sub-themes, the sheet? Okay, so the floor I yield to Pak Bredipta to lead the discussion session. The floor is yours, Pak Bredipta.
Thank you, Ibu Meisha. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for attending this virtual meeting in preparation of our first Southeast Asia Internet Governance Forum. As it has been mentioned previously by Ibu Meisha and Pak Haryo, we will be discussing and receiving comments and inputs on the proposed theme and sub-themes. I believe this is already mentioned and it has already been presented before the screen and displayed. There are 3 sub-themes for our Southeast Asia IGF based on our main theme, which is digital transformation toward Southeast Asia integrated community, of which the first sub-theme is ICT infrastructure and cybersecurity. Second sub-theme on human rights and digital society, and third sub-theme would be youth and innovation development. The open call for the sub-theme has already been opened and will be decided and be issued tomorrow by the steering committee of CIGF. However, we would be more than welcome to have your suggestion and inputs on whether there are additional sub-theme or issue that we want to be discussed during CIGF, and will lead to call for a session proposal. I also second the statement from Ibu Amira Wilkis to zoom the display. So the secretariat, it would be very helpful if you may zoom in the screen. And as an alternative, I think if the link can be also shared to the participant in the chat box, it will be easier as well, I believe. Thank you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I welcome all of you to raise your hand or provide any inputs or feedback through the chat box. The discussion is basically quite informal in the way that if there is any additions that you want to have on the first sub-theme, second sub-theme, or third sub-theme, please raise the issue and we'll be happy to discuss and talk about it. Thank you.
Pak Bre.
Okay,
I think
thank you.
Pablo.
Yes. Thank you, Bu Meisa. Thank you, Mr. Pablo Hinojosa. Maybe cyber norms on subteam 1. Do you mind to elaborate more on whether there are specific cyber norms that we should discuss or any further additions on that? Feel free to open your microphone as well as your camera if you are comfortable to do so.
Thank you very much. Well, I just noticed that cyber norms has been a topic of great attention in the global IGF. There are processes in the UN First Committee. One recently finished the open-ended working group with a report. There are cyber norms that have been accepted in the group of governmental experts and endorsed by the General Assembly. So it is a process that has not followed very much multi-stakeholder principles, and there are elements that the internet governance community might be able to discuss. Just another possible comment on the digital resilience. I think that's a very important topic, particularly in the context of COVID-19 pandemic. So I'm not sure if you would like to add a little bit on COVID-19 response and infrastructure as well.
Sabar gua. Gak tahu gua. Yang di KKU. Oh, jam 12 menit.
I'm sorry, Mr. Pablo Hinojosa. I think we get a bit fragmented on your voice. So can you correct me if I'm wrong in reiterating what you have just mentioned? The first one would be the cyber norms, as it builds on the foundation of multi-stakeholder consensus in the internet governance. And the second comment that you raised is about digital resilience in the COVID-19 pandemic. And I think you also raised that it is important topic as well because it's related to our pandemic. And thank you, Mr. Pablo Hinojosa, for confirming that my reiteration is correct. Ladies and gentlemen, before we proceed further, we would like to also inform you that this meeting is recorded for our internal documentation. If there is any of you that is objecting of this recording, please let us know, and we will not publish it in any way. Okay. Furthermore, if there is any additional suggestion or feedback on the current proposed subteams.
If I can add one more thing. I was thinking perhaps we can also have a category where we modernize the current regulatory framework because while it's good for us to set the digital standards, digital framework in place, most of these countries already have laws in place that need to be modernized for the digital economy.
Thank you, Erika. So if I hear you correctly, you propose to discuss on transforming digital regulations or perhaps
modernizing digital regulations. Yeah.
Modernizing digital regulation. And where do you find it fits under the subteams? Is that the second one, third one, or first one?
I believe it can fall under subteam 1 in that sense.
Okay, thank you, Erika.
Excuse me, can I make a comment, please?
Please,
Hello.
Mr. Budi Yuwono, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'm just my question maybe is on the process. This is I see there are so many topics within each of the sub teams, and I just wondering how we will going to deliberate on which areas needs to be covered in the IGF, noting that time is limited. If we have so broad topics to discuss, then we might risk losing depth in the discussion. So we end up with just scratching the surface and not much into the depth. But yeah, I think back to the principle that we want to link it to the theme of digital transformation towards Southeast Asia integrated community. I think it's a digital transformation. I mean, it's everything. Yeah. Maybe what we need is something that can easily link to the theme, because otherwise we will want to have a big shopping list. Everything will be included, because of course we have so many things that are nice to discuss. But of course, in the theme of digital transformation, I think now with COVID-19 accelerating transformation in all aspects of life, and it may bring some advantages, but also some gaps or digital divides. Those who don't have access to digital technology, or those who, or even the negative impacts of digital transformation when people are not ready to deal with the different ecosystems. There are negative impacts of fake news, for example, or negative impact of lack of maturity of digital community. So I just wanting to see more structure rather than shopping list. I mean, honestly, there are some areas that are useful. Cybersecurity is one of them. Now everything is digitalized, everybody. So the risk of cyber attacks or fraudulent behavior on the cyberspace is becoming an issue. And so my concern is we have limited time during the IGF, so we need to be able to to sharpen our focus so that we be discussing things in depth rather than just broad and coming with nothing actionable. Secondly, is to link it with the actual issue of digital transformation. Now, transformation has been accelerated, and there are good things that we need to maximize. There are bad things that we need to minimize. Of course, the regulatory modernization is an issue also now, where people are thinking it's no longer black and white, whether which content is okay, which content is not okay, and how do you police them, who will have the right to the authority to do it, and I mean, who is the big company will decide what content can be online and which need to be taken down, and all that issues are so hot that people want to discuss it. So I think I most of the topics is more than enough that if I see it's been very productive in people in recommending subtopics or sub themes, and I think the next task is going to be to structure it and to focus it so that it will be meaningful discussion rather than everybody quoting other research in other areas, in other forums, and then we just echoing each other that this is important, but then we are not able to come up with something that will be actionable. That is my concern, but of course I this is just the beginning of the process. So yes, I salute those who have provided the inputs. Thank you very much.
Noted. Many thanks, Pak Budi, for the feedback based from your feedback previously. There are two main points that if I can try to recollect it. The first point is that we hope to have a more structured discussion and topic. And the second one is on how to focus on the issue of digital transformation itself rather than to see it everywhere and see it less structured way. If I'm not mistaken, kindly correct me if I restated wrong.
Yes, that's what I was saying. Thank you very much. Yes, I think the point that I'm trying to make is that perhaps it's time to comment on the specific topics and how it links to the theme, rather than okay, I see a new thing useful and then you add it, but the exercise of linking it to the theme and justifying why we want to discuss one thing, because it is linked to the transformation that is now being accelerated by the pandemic, and what is the region wants to achieve through digital transformation. I think that being able to justify the link, I think it will be useful for the meeting tomorrow to be able to to concretize the theme for the IGF. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Budi. Noted. So I think, if I may, I wish to share that these themes and sub-themes are the basis for our open for proposal session that will be the main activities in our CIGF event. And this topic basically provides guidance to any prospective participants, prospective organizer of the session, on what kind of topics, what kind of workshop or discussion that they want to propose. And this will later be curated within the committee, and based on the relevance with the team, based on how it will bring impact to the society. So noted that this will later be more structured.
Bu Joyce, Pak Bre, angkat tangan.
Yes, Pak Aswin.
Bu Joyce.
No. Bu Joyce.
Miss Joyce, the floor is yours. As we noted that you raised your hand already.
All right, thanks very much, Pak. I just have a few suggestions. So for sub-theme 3, we could consider including future of work, as well as cyberbullying, since there is the highlight on the youth. So future of work is one, and then cyberbullying is the next one. And I really like the suggestion from the previous speaker. So maybe something on connecting the unconnected, also in the same sub-theme. I can put these into the chat as well so that you have a reference point. And then another thing is for sub-theme 1, there is something on microwave. I'm not really sure what that has to do with ICT or the internet. So maybe what you are looking for is Internet of Things instead of listing out like specific gadgets. So maybe remove microwave. I think satellite is fine because there's satellite connections, but maybe have another additional one on Internet of Things. And then I also want to support in the chat the suggestion by Pablo as well as Juliana mentioned this idea of the environment and climate change. So I don't have any real preference for which sub-theme the environment or climate change could go under, because it's cut across everything. So maybe we can have a think about where that might be able to go. So something to do with sustainability. And then my last point would be for the overarching theme, digital transformations towards Southeast Asia integrated community. I think the idea of an integrated community is coming more from the ASEAN kind of integrated ASEAN idea. It's something that would need to be unpacked. And also it's not a concept that is very common that we see in the IGF space. So if we put an overarching theme like that, it might lead people to only talk more about regional effort rather than country specific. So for a first time Southeast Asia IGF, I think it would be better to have a more general theme. So for example, digital transformations in Southeast Asia. right? And then give people the space to then talk about the different topics. So you can include, if you want, the idea of an integrated community, perhaps say under youth and innovation development as a sub-theme, rather than as the main theme itself. So these are my suggestions. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Joyce Chen, for your suggestion, and also thank you for raising up Pablo Hinojosa comments and Ms. Juliana Harsyanti on sustainability as well as environmental data. Perhaps either Pablo or Ms. Juliana, would you be able to share what you mean with environmental data? Does this related on how some infrastructure has impact on the environment, or is it more on the biodiversity data of several traditional practice in Southeast Asia's indigenous community, or certain other specific information? Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. This is Pablo again. By environmental data, there is a trending topic these days about the collection of geospatial and all sorts of data. There is a gap of around 60% in the Sustainable Development Goals indicators for the environment. So it's all about data that will help us monitor better climate change and other subjects. And ISPs and internet providers are producers of important data about how people move between places, and they also are the key stakeholders to transmit and connect this data to the relevant people to analyze it. So that's more or less behind the topic.
Thank you, Pablo, for adding on your suggestion. Ms. Juliana, do you mind to also add on what Pablo has stated, or do you concur with Pablo's statement?
What do you mean about the environment data? This is Basuki. Because I work for some researcher in Asia Pacific, even in Europe, discuss about the data itself.
So Pablo, do you want to respond to? Okay, he will provide some links, Pak Basuki. So I think the discussion can be based on what he provides. Yeah. Perhaps any other topics or comment on these proposed sub-themes?
Pabre?
Yes.
Yes. Just a comment on sustainability. I think the availability of data is also depends on the placement of IoT. For example, somebody mentioned, I think Bu Joyce mentioned about Internet of Things. Now people are putting up sensors to monitor the quality of the environment, the water, the air, and also for, and all this data is the abundance of data will be a good source for policy making that will improve sustainability. I think this the 4IR or 4IR issues come into play where people are now installing sensors for environment control as well as improving energy utilization or efficient energy utilization and so forth. So I think that's a big package on sustainability related to 4IR, and then 5G come to place also because sensors need extra fast, extra high capacity network, and that will require infrastructure like 5G. And then 5G in turns requires some big pipeline, and then people thinking about fiber optics, satellite, maybe microwave if you want to reach rural areas and so forth. So I think this is a big topic. Sustainability may not be a sub-theme. This is maybe even a main theme in itself that can be reserved for another IGF. Or we can choose to decide that this time we will discuss sustainability as a big topic that everybody will have to chip in trying to reduce carbon footprint. Data center will have to know how to use energy more efficiently, automation and so forth. So I think to me it's a big topic. I mean, in ASEAN, sustainability issue it's one package with 4IR, 5G, sensor, IoTs, and AI also to be able to automate things so that it will please then energy usage utilization can be optimized and so forth. So this is a big topic. Yeah, it's a very good topic. If you want to be in line with the current development in the world, then yes. Not sure about the states of development in ASEAN, in Southeast Asia, whether they invest enough in sustainability, invest enough in mitigating climate change. I think it's may not be their priority, but for us, I think for civil society, we are very much interested in it. So it's a balance between relevance and priority that we see the future holds. So yeah, I think just my comment. Thank you.
Thank you, Pak Budi, for your additional comment on the environment and internet and sustainability as well. I believe that the Secretariat has already been taking notes, and I also made some note as well. And is there any other issues? Yes, please.
Yes. Okay. I see that here that we need to add cloud, right? There's no cloud topic in here, so we need to add cloud because this is also impacting our life in the internet, right? So maybe in the infrastructure topic. And also one more thing, I think that infra exchange also will be an additional topic, right? That's all from me.
Noted. Thank you, Pak Romi. And also, I see Joyce in the comment also mentioned that media, positive content, to use media and suggest instead of positive content as defining media and content rather than just media and content, I believe. Yes. Thank you. Is there any other inputs on the sub-themes?
Pak Bre, can I jump in on the environment and digital?
Sure, Misa, please.
Yeah, I think there was like a confusion where to put it. I suggest to put it in under potential sub-theme 2, because environment now is part of like human rights also somehow. So apart from digital technology in disaster, I think environment also stretch beyond disaster, like how activism in environment issues, for example, is triggered by digital means. So I think we can spread it out into like 2 different sub-themes. One is focused on the disaster itself, like how the monitoring and also the alert warning embedded in digital technology in disaster, but the other is actually also taking environment as the human rights itself, because like most of like environmental issues actually fall place for those who live in poor areas, and also for minority. There are those who affected most in Southeast Asia, I think, from all of the disasters. So we can also discuss that from the perspective of digital activism environment. because I mean, like with Greta Thunberg and all those, I think it's also fair to put it under human rights. So we have like two different focus in discussing environment issues. That's actually my thinking. Thank you.
Thank you, Ibu Meisa, for adding on the environment and digital issues. Is there anything else to add?
Probably, Pak Bre, should we discuss the input and discussion that already collected from the Google form? If there is no,
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I think we can move to the second sheet. Okay, so as it has been mentioned briefly that we already made call for input on this thematic as well as the sub-themes, and we have received some input. So we are also wondering if there is any from the attendants who would like to add additional input for the potential sub-theme, the thematic as well, in addition to what has been mentioned previously.
I think Joyce is raising hand.
Please, Joyce, the floor is yours.
Sure. So Joy speaking, and I see that there is a comment perhaps linked with APRGF themes, and I am on the APRGF program committee, so maybe I can just share a preview of the work that is coming out from there. So the MSG have discussed, and we are still discussing, that perhaps the overarching theme would be something like towards an inclusive, sustainable, and trusted internet. I can put this in the chat so that you can have a reference. We don't have to have the same one, but it's just to give you an idea of what we are going to cover. And then in terms of the themes, so this year APRGF is actually moving away from just having sub-themes. Instead, we are suggesting to do something like tracks. So it's going to be like a multi-year thing. So one track can be used, we will reuse it over several years because it's a very, very broad bucket. So based on the overarching theme, we can tell that there are three main tracks. So one on inclusion, one on sustainability, and then the last one is on trust. So anything that, could fall under each of the different tracks. There are multiple different types of like hashtags and sub-themes and topics issues that would fall under each track. And then the idea is that the APRGF would like to encourage the community to make proposals that are cross-cutting issues. So not just focusing on one topic, but you can think about maybe different topics that would fall under inclusion and have that as one workshop. So we are adopting kind of a different approach this year, and we're going to try and see if it works. And maybe we will continue to use the same approach every year. So that's just an update on the APRGF side.
Thank you, Joyce, for the explanation. We note that, as well as I think it is a very helpful information, especially in preparation of our call for proposal. So I think it's also a good idea to have a cross section between each sub-team. Okay, I think can the CTAT help to scroll down so that the viewers can also see the rest of the input. Pak Aswin, do you have something to add, Pak Aswin?
Cukup Pak, saya kira Pak. I think
Noted, Pak. Thank you, Pak.
I think it's enough, and we should, I think, redesign again redesign again the team and sub-teams in accordance to the input, and we should share it afterward.
Noted, Pak. Thank you. If there is no other additional input, I think Ibu Mesha can help us to share with us the summary of comments and feedback that has been discussed during this session. Ibu Mesha?
Thank you very much, Pak Bre. So thank you very much, everyone, for putting up the inputs and also the suggestion for our team and sub-teams. So to recap all of very useful and very meaningful and beneficial inputs, here we have several inputs. The first one, as Pablo mentioned, it's on like digital resilience in the COVID-19 pandemic. The second one is to probably embed, this comes from Bu Julia and also from Pablo, to embed the environment and digital, which I also added to how to make two different sub-themes in environment. First one is environment and digital falls under the human rights sub-themes. And also the second one more on the digital technology in disaster. And then the third one, the comments is to I think rewording the microwave word in potential sub-theme 1 to Internet of Things or IoT. And also Pablo in the first part of sessions mentioned about cyber norm to embed in potential sub-theme 1, and also cloud. So we already like incorporated in under potential sub-theme 1. And also Joyce has kindly suggested to have two additional hashtags under potential sub-theme 3, future of work and also cyberbullying. So we will also like incorporate that under potential sub-theme 3. And also Pak Budi mentioned and suggest how if we have more structured theme rather than we have like a shopping list, and we will be discussing about that also. And Pak Budi kindly mentioned to and suggest to focus on more advantage and disadvantages during COVID-19. And also there was also a discussion from Joyce around how this general theme needs to be unpacked. So it could lead to more like also individual countries effort, not only the regional efforts. So Joyce suggested to have a wording like, for example, like digital transformation in Southeast Asia. So that's the suggestion. And also that was commenting the input in the second sheet. Joyce actually mentioned that APR IGF would have a more cross-cutting issues under each wording in the overarching team, and they will have also like different approaches on the upcoming APR IGF. So the overarching team would be towards an inclusive, sustainable, and trusted internet. So we from the Southeast Asia Internet Governance Forum Committee would probably consider and also deliberate if we could relay our own theme and sub-teams to the upcoming APR IGF teams. And also, I think that I think that was all the recap of this theme and sub-themes. So the things that needs to be discussed, we have several things to discuss. First, how we could reword the general theme to be overarching and to be more relevant to individual countries' efforts in terms of internet landscape. The second one, how we could make it structured, like Pak Bre already kindly mentioned, we would make it structured after this session, and we would kindly share it to all of the participants today, and also others who are not making, who unable to join today, but part of our steering committee members. The third one is also to consider how to make the sub-themes more related to COVID-19 dynamics, like already mentioned by Pak Budi and also mentioned by Pablo and Joyce and others. And also the third one, how to basically incorporate the new hashtags that recommended by Joyce, by Pablo, by Pak Budi, and by Bu Julia on the chat. Like, for example, there are like third hashtags like connecting the unconnected, where should this fall, and how we could reword that. So and the fifth one is actually how to refer to the broad APR IGF teams, how to relay back to all of the APR IGF approaches. So that, I think that was the 5 to-do lists that we will be discussing in the Secretariat. So probably if you have more inputs or more additional comments, you can always feel free to reach us before we deliberate further. And that's the summary of today. Okay, so Pablo also add digital cooperation hashtag. So we will take notes of that. And also AIC, just give, probably before I recap this summary, I can give the floor to Edika, I think, because Edika mentioned that on sub-theme 2, perhaps we can showcase how the industry is working with regulators to combat this information. If you want to explore and elaborate more on that, so we can also incorporate in sub-themes. Edika, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Just to build up on the point that Pablo shared earlier in the meeting, because I think misinformation and disinformation has become very prevalent, especially during the COVID-19 pandemic. You have a lot of fake news regarding vaccines or other issues politically within the government. So I think it would be key for us to have a dedicated section to share with people what's currently being done, particularly the kind of collaborations that the industry is collaborating with the government with to combat these issues.
Much, Edika. And there was also a input from, I believe from, sorry, Pablo, Digital Cooperation. Do you want to elaborate on that before we like recap in the end of the session, so we can put it here?
Sure,
probably.
Mesa, thank you.
Thank you.
As you know, there was a high-level panel on digital cooperation that produced a report at the UN for the Secretary General. The Secretary General adopted and is in the process of implementing a roadmap for digital cooperation. And most of the future of the IGF is said to be or happen within this process. There is a proposal for an IGF plus, and there is a lot happening at the UN on this digital cooperation roadmap. So it could be a good thing to connect the sub-regional initiatives such as this one with the goals of the digital cooperation roadmap, as it is a very important part of internet governance these days. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Pablo. Well noted. And also, I think that was good. Okay, I think that's all the input. And also, I think I missed to recap the AIC input on how to make the regulatory standards on digital framework more modernized. I think I missed to mention that. So that's also, we will consider that input. If there's any comments or any inputs on the proposed sub-themes or themes, and this part, the input and discussion. We are welcome for the inputs, and we will be deliberating it in tomorrow basis. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mas Haryo. So until then, if you still have comments or inputs that you probably missed during the session that you wanted to send an email to our secretariat, please feel free to do that so we can make it more structured, like Pak Budi mentioned earlier. Yeah. So is there any last comment from the secretariat, probably, Mas Haryo?
No, Mesha is enough. Thank you.
From IGF, is there any comment from Pak Aswin, or I think I see Pak Freddy also just joined. Do you have any comments or before we wrap up this session, today's session? Okay. So I don't think there's any. There's nobody raising hands, I think, no, right? Yeah, no. So probably that's the end of the session, today's session. Please feel free to disseminate the information on SEI IGF. We have disseminated all the flyers, and also we have disseminated the list of team and sub-teams. So until tomorrow, I think, if you have anything in mind that probably missed in this session, just shout. And also, yeah, I think that's for today. Pak Brit, do you have any other comments, any last comments to close the discussion?
No, I do not have any further comments. I thank you for all the participants attending this discussion that has been very constructive as well as very informative, that I believe the Secretariat and the rest of the organizing committee, steering committee will be taken into consideration before opening the call for proposal session. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Pak Bre, for the comprehensive inputs, and thank you very much for everyone for joining today's session, and thank you very much for being very concise and productive and also very insightful to us. Surely there's like a lot of things that probably we missed out without everyone that joined today. So thank you very much. Stay healthy, stay safe, and we will be in touch through the email. Oh, I think there's someone raising hands.
Yeah, I think on the point that Joyce raised on tomorrow's SE meeting will be communicated by the Secretariat later today.
Yeah, I think Putri is raising hands. Sorry, I didn't really see.
Actually, okay, one last thing for me. If there's some people who still not on the mailing list, you can chat us or tell us your email so we can add to our mailing list.
Yeah, thank you, Putri. Important add-ons. Yeah, to keep up with all of the infos from SEI IGF Secretariat. So thank you also, Pak Bre, for the additional information. So we will be sending all of the details through emails from the Secretariat. So thank you for the productive session. I hope you all guys stay healthy and safe. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Hope you're well.
Thank you. Hope you are well. Yo. Oke, Mas Haryo, silahkan Mas di take the button, Mas.
Sepertinya masih ada beberapa pesertanya masih ada di ruangan. Mau kita tunggu dulu atau gimana?
Oke. Zoom saya agak error, jadi yang terlihat hanya Mas Haryo dan Mas Bri.
Lah ini sudah selesai toh.
Loh, Pak Freddy baru datang.
Lah tadi tuh ditinggal bikin kopi, Pak. Balik sudah selesai.
Ini Pak Haryo, apa namanya kita ditambahin yang tadi tuh pertemuan internal kita bahas lagi lah.
Iya Pak, besok kita bahas lebih detail terkait ini Pak, kesepakatan hari ini Pak.
Kalau boleh tahu garis besarnya isunya apa aja tadi Mas Aryo? Sorry,
besarnya tadi ada apa? Sebentar aku matikan dulu YouTube-nya Bapak. Matikan YouTube-nya di mana ya? Streaming on YouTube.
Yang paling urgent aja sebenarnya.
Saya izin telepon orang dulu ya Bapak Ibu, Mas Mbak.
Tadi
hubungin orang sebentar.
Ya. Tadi ada usulan temanya lebih dibuat general, tidak integrated community, terus ada beberapa tim Pak untuk ditambahkan terkait inline dengan seperti IPR, IGF, UN, dan hal-hal yang lagi fenomenal saat ini Pak.
Ini yang bisa matiin YouTube-nya, hostnya ini Mbak Melisa kayaknya.